8 minutes we got left before we chat. Grab your coffee, find your seat. Cowbells are ringing, that's our cue. Gonna share our thoughts with you. Laugh and gossip, spit in tea. Little secrets between you and me. Countdown ticking, let's get real. Heart to heart, it's how we feel. Girl talks in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Girl talks, wiping all those tears. Snap a pic of what we wear. Brush our hair, let down our care. Conversations never lie in this moment with you and I. Clock is ticking, here we go. Words like rivers start to flow. Tune your ears and hear the beat. Girl talks makes our time so sweet. Girl talks in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Girl talks, wiping all our tears. Clock is ticking, here we go. Words like rivers start to flow. Tune your ears and hear the beat. Girl talks makes our time so sweet. Girl talks in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Girl talks, wiping all our tears.
Morning, y'all. It's 5 minutes and 30 seconds before Girl Talk starts, so you have just enough time to grab yourself a cup of coffee and get in a comfy seat. We'll see you soon.
Catch Girl Talks every day. Follow socials, here's the way.
GURLTAUX, every platform come to play. Catch our vibe, don't delay.
Facebook, YouTube streams. Scrolling through your daily memes.
Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talk is all about.
Keeping it real, it's what we do. So tune in now and join our crew. Lights moving through the screen. Click subscribe, don't be mean. Upbeat chatter, it's our routine.
Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about.
GURLTAUX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Girl Talks can be seen. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. Update stories, laugh and cry. It's Girl Talks, so don't question why. It's the show that you'll adore. Come back daily to get some more. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. GURLTAUX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Girl Talks can be seen. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. GURLTAUX, log in now, watch our show. Likes and comments, let them flow. Every day we're on our way. what Girl Talks is all about.
Walking down this road tonight, talking about the things we fight. Addiction knocking at my door. E&T wants so much more. We walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, together we'll move along. Searching for a brighter day, holding tight along the way. Sobriety's a steep climb, D&T winning every time. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along.
Good morning. Good morning. It's Girl Talks. Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody is doing well. My other person should be here shortly. Christy will be here shortly. Again, our hearts go out to Greta, who is still, I'm sure, dealing with the loss of her friend. I personally know how hard that is, and I'm still having a hard time, and it's been since August, but it's something that can hit you pretty hard to your core. And Alicia is recovering and handling her healthcare issues. And I know Amanda had a sick kid, and I'm not sure if any of them will be back, and it's okay if they're not. That's fine. I do hope they would come back if they feel better. But let's just pivot and move on and do the best we can. There is Christy. Hi, Christy.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Yeah, Charlotte is down here with me. So I made you a seat right over there
Okay.
on the recliner.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's the best camera
Oh,
angle, kind of.
Exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. Well, it's better than the side, like I want to have Steve kind of change how these cameras sit, because they kind of sit where they're kind of not right directly on. Like my camera is straight on me, and then the other cameras are kind of more at an angle. Oh, did you bring her a gift? Oh, that's so sweet. Charlotte brought
is
Christy
she-
a gift.
Is a boy or a girl?
She's a girl. Charlotte.
Oh, can I throw it or do you want me to hold it?
No, she wants you to throw it.
Oh, amazing. All right, good girl.
Now we're not going to play the entire time
Oh, you are
catch
ruining
Miss
all the
thing.
fun. Shoot. Okay, let me
We're
see
not
what
just going to play catch Miss
Oh
Girl.
boy, I'm walking into a live thing. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
nothing
you
like,
you walked right
front and
into a
center,
live.
nerve-wracking here. Yikes. Okay, let me figure this out.
Okay, so it goes in the ear, and then it whatever direction it is, it goes where the loop goes around the back side of the ear. So that'll tell you which side of the head it goes on. Yeah, it's once you get used to it, they're easy. Yeah,
There we go.
yeah, yeah. There you go.
Okay, one side.
All right, so there we are.
Excellent.
Can you hear?
No, I can't hear anything.
Okay. Can you hear now?
I can. There it is.
Okay, turn the volume up just a little
Excellent.
bit. I think I had everything down.
Okay.
So, but anyway, so let me switch this to this one.
I drank
here.
a lot of soda and I feel like I've got like air totally filling up my lungs here. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm having my coffee
Excellent.
and enjoying my coffee. Did you want some coffee?
I'm good. I had soda. I had some soda. So
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday. The caffeine. I
an
need my
addiction.
caffeine.
yes.
I am most definitely the caffeine person.
Yeah.
That needs that caffeine.
Yeah.
So Charlotte's going to be our third person today.
Excellent.
She's on the couch with her little ball. So she can be our number 3.
Perfect.
So anyway, I am Tori. I'm the host of Girl Talks, and I'm an Army veteran, and I am a former Leo, and worked in. I'm my own village, people. I
what
couldn't.
does former Leo mean?
Law enforcement officer.
Okay, Leo. All right, got it.
I
was
used
thinking
to.
sign.
I used to be a lion.
Okay.
I used to be a Leo, and I
Okay.
didn't like it, so
Yeah.
I changed to Cancer.
Okay, yes. So what do you think you're now? Okay, got it.
I identify as a Leo,
Okay.
yeah, former Leo,
Okay.
and that was funny. Like I didn't think about it from that perspective. People out there who don't know what a Leo is, they're like, oh,
Okay.
he used to be a Leo.
Yeah, like, wait, what? Did you learn you had a different birthday?
Well, so I found out I was adopted,
Yeah.
and I was really born in this month and not this month, so I'm a former Leo. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm never adopted, and I do think it's a beautiful and amazing thing when people adopt. I have some former friends from back in Nevada that they have 4 kids, and they just got the first 3 legally adopted,
Congratulations.
and
Yeah.
then they're waiting. I think the youngest one's court is in January or February for that adoption.
Congratulations
and-
to them.
It's a beautiful thing because I watched them go through IVF,
Yeah.
all the processes, trying to have a family, trying to have a baby. And it was very difficult for them, and obviously not successful.
Yeah.
And they are the most beautiful people.
Yeah.
Like they do what's called the Elf House every year at Christmas time, and their house is so decorated. They've been on the news. They've had lots of publicity for their Elf House. They have a full size sleigh at their that they made, and they're everybody who comes down the street, it's a toy drive for foster kids, and has been a toy drive for different charities. I'm not sure if it was always for foster kids, but it turned to always for foster kids now. And they get thousands and thousands of presents.
That's awesome.
And this last year, their sleigh was stolen. It was so sad. But
These are the reasons I hate
it was so
people.
cute. They went from no kids to like a house full.
Nice.
But it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing when people are willing to put themselves out for other people.
Yeah.
You know, some family members adopt their own family members, you know, because of situations with, you know, their daughter and son or something with their kid, or, you know, so there's a lot of reasons why kids need a good home. And there's a guy I watch regularly, Officer Tatum. He does he did a fundraiser drive this year for prison children, for a toy drive, Angel Tree. And their goal was to be able to provide, I think he wanted to provide 500 kids with, so it ended up being 4,800 kids that they provided a gift for. So it was really, really cool when people do some of these volunteering. It's something we were talking about the other day. So I'm going to get into that in just a second.
Okay.
Since I got off here in introductions, I'm also a mom of 3 boys, and I have 4 bonus children, and a slew of grandchildren. And sad news: my son and his gonna-be wife lost their baby, and blessings out to them. I'm so sorry. I'm so sad about it. And we never know what God's plan is. Right. We really just don't know what God's plan is. I did send him I kept trying to think of something I could say to him. And I didn't know what to say, but I kept opening my devotional book. And I was looking through it, not by date, but by topic.
Yeah.
And it kept going to the same one. So I was like, okay,
Fine, let me read it.
let me read it. And it says, keep going.
Yeah.
Lift your drooping hands and strengthen your weak knees and make straight path for your feet, so that what is lame may not be put out of joint, but rather be healed. And have you ever wanted to just throw in the towel and call it quits in your faith or other things? Maybe you've been faithfully serving God for some time and are still not seeing the blessings or breakthrough you've been praying for. Or maybe obstacles keep getting in your way, or you're plagued by one disappointment after another. Whatever the challenge, Hebrews 12 is a chapter encouraging us to endure in following Jesus. In our weakness, we can get sucked into running down crooked paths that only lead to more pain. If you're already limping from an existing injury or affliction, ensure you're running on the right path, with Jesus by your side. If you want the injury to heal, don't keep running back to the same things that caused you hurt and pain. Instead, fix your eyes on Jesus and follow him. And then it ends with a little prayer. Lord Jesus, I want to run down the straight path with you by my side. Heal my existing wounds and strengthen me for the race ahead. So it turned out to be actually a really good motivational, but it's also one of those things that nothing helps right now. No words are going to help.
Right.
I did not call because I've been through that a long time ago.
Right.
And I wouldn't want to have to make someone else feel better on the phone
Right.
because I'm hurting. It's super silly yet ironic. I was watching a new show called St. Dennis.
Okay.
It's a funny comedy hospital setting. And there's a new character on there that is, well, he's not a new character. He started, at the beginning, but he was a new addition to the hospital. Mm-hmm. And he's an RN, and he's a male, and he was born and raised basically in a cult.
Okay.
Is the way he explains it. Like very, so I don't know what religion he's considering. I don't think they actually say what religion, but very, stringent, structured, all scripture, all day, everything. And he ended up in a call, a code, and he was doing CPR on the guy. Well, the guy did live, and he spent the rest of the show trying to get the guy to thank him for saving his life.
Sure.
And and it was obnoxious.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Right.
But at the very end was what was poignant to me, because he said, as the guy was leaving, being wheeled out of the hospital by his mom and another lady, he walks up to him and he's like, says something to him, and the guy turns around and he's like, yeah, I'm leaving, bye. And he's like, it's called manners. When someone does something nice for you, they open the door, you say thank you. When they do this for you, you say thank you. When they save your life, you say thank you. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize my dying and my trying to get my last breath and coming back to life and recovering was all about you.
Right.
And I was like, wow, is that not how sometimes we act towards other people?
Right.
I didn't realize my trauma was about you.
Right. You have to be very, especially in those situations, you do have to be very
Yeah.
careful and make sure that when you approach them, that you are not using your trauma and your pain or projecting your BS onto them. when
Yeah.
They need.
Can you pull the mic just a little
Yeah,
closer?
sure.
There you
Sorry
go. Oh,
about that.
now I can hear you
Woo!
perfect.
Sorry, but yeah, to make sure that
Well,
they
and
are
it's
able to
easy
focus.
really quickly to go into, I know what you're going through.
Right.
I understand. And
really-
you could,
yes,
because maybe you did go through
Right.
something just like that.
yes,
However,
It's
are
still
they
theirs.
perceiving that as
suck it up, buttercup.
your trauma is about you,
Right.
or my trauma is about you instead of
Yeah.
about me?
Yeah.
This is what I'm going through. I used to tell people a lot about
Your hat says that, doesn't it?
yeah, suck it up, buttercup. It does. That's my mantra for me. But I used to do a lot of public speaking on domestic violence and
Right.
sexual assault, and I used to explain to people that when people are so down, especially when you're talking about depression and some issues that people are going through, and they say, oh, I'm having a horrible time, or this is the worst time, or this is bad. And then they say what their problem is. And you're like, well, there's somebody out there that doesn't have legs.
Right.
You know, they give that comparison. Well, there's somebody out there who, have you seen that one that skateboards to get around her house, and she has no arms and she has no legs, and she flings herself up and she does everything with her toes. And okay, but my worst may be my worst.
Right.
My
Yep.
trauma is my trauma.
Yep.
And comparing it to someone who, yes, they may have it worse
Yep.
in visual form,
Right.
but maybe they were raised by stronger parents. Maybe
Right.
they were, and maybe they were just born with more resilience
Right.
because God gave them more resilience so they could battle things that are harder for another person. They couldn't have handled that, because there are several places in the Bible that I think it does explain that, and I don't know the exact scripture, so don't quote me on it, but, or it's been said many times, God only gives you as much as you can handle.
Right.
So in those circumstances, did he, not that he gave those inflictions to somebody, but we're given the things that make us stronger, make us better, make us strive for harder or whatever.
Right.
But projecting your trauma onto someone else, or taking theirs and comparing it with yours.
Yeah.
I have said I've been through this, so I do understand what you're going through. Right. And to this day, I will still remember her. And they named him Noah. I mean, they were able to even hold him.
Yeah.
But Noah stands for what did she say? I don't want to misquote it. I think it stands for rest. Sorry, everybody. Hold on one second. I guess I could have pulled it up on my phone instead of, or my computer instead of my phone since my computer is actually in front of me. Anyway, that's me. I'm Tori. This is Girl Talks. Finish with the introduction, and then I'll pull that up while you're doing your introduction.
Okay. I'm Christy. Also,
Who are you? What do you do? Why are you here?
let's see. I am here to be your sidekick. Let's bounce ideas off of, hang out with you, and make things interesting. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have some fun.
Now, are you married? Do you have kids?
I am married. 25 years. We just did 25 years.
Congratulations.
That's fun, right?
Yeah.
It's a fun little adventure. We have 3 kids. They are 23, 22, and 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little range there.
Yeah.
Now, you guys were in the military, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a retired Marine.
Yeah, Marines are hard to deal with in their own right, but can be great too. I mean, my husband does have a great sense of humor. So does my Marine sons.
They're very dark and twisty, and you develop that yourself. It's
Well,
like,
I was already dark and twisty, so it
know.
kind of fit.
Yeah, it's really hard to talk to normal people. I mean,
Yeah.
like
That is
sometimes
true.
I'm like, ooh, that wasn't good.
That is true.
Like maybe I shouldn't have said that, but it's all right. I'm learning to talk to normal. Well, maybe not, but it's all right.
Well, it's always a work in progress, right?
Right.
So they named him Noah, which in Hebrew means rest.
Yeah.
So, and I thought I had it right, but I just wanted to make sure I had it right. But, so, and he's, going to be being cremated this week. Yeah. And then, I am going to make them, some things for them with the ashes. So, healing comes in time.
Yes.
That's all I can say. So now what our show is actually about, now that we've gotten our introductions off the ground, our show is about new year, new you,
Oh boy.
new show.
New show.
Are any of those things even possible?
Let's see.
You know, New Year's resolutions I don't know how long New Year's resolutions has been a thing. Now
That's a really good question.
You can get conflicting answers in the question I asked. I asked how many people quit New Year's resolutions. Mm-hmm. And then I also asked how many people are successful with New Year's resolutions.
Never.
They are conflicting. They are conflicting in their answers. So I'm going to say how many are successful first based on that question.
Okay.
So based on that question, and let me just Google real quick when they started. Do you have a New Year's resolution? Are you going to do a New Year's resolution?
Honestly, this year I hope to focus more on being present and trying to be more fulfilled rather than focusing on resolutions. So working more on being more in the moment, being more with my people and things like that versus other things. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. What about you?
So one thing, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Keep that mic close to your mouth because you're going in and out.
Sorry.
It's all right. It takes a little bit to get used to it being like in your face.
Yeah.
But it kind of has to be, or they go, well, I can hear her, I can't. I can hear her, I can't.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a little anecdotal thing there. So when do New Year's resolutions start? According to this, traditions of making New Year's resolutions dates back over 4,000 years and originated in ancient Babylon, is what it says. In 46 BC, Roman Emperor Julius Caesar established January 1 as the beginning of the new year and named the month after Janus, the two-faced gods. the Romans would make sacrifices to Janus and promise to be good in the coming year. So that's, I guess, when New Year's resolutions started. And then covenant renewal service in 1740, John Wesley, the founder of the Methodism, created the covenant renewal service, which was often held on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. The service included reading from scripture and hymn singing and was a spiritual alternative to the more boisterous celebration of the time.
I swear I put this thing on silent.
It could be mine.
It's driving me insane. I'm so sorry.
No, mine's on silent.
This is gonna drive me insane. And every time I keep... Where the heck? There. That's better. Okay.
It's easy to do.
Yeah. I've just got a Samsung and I'm still trying to figure it out. So
Well, once you figure it out, you will realize that you have not come to the dark side. You've come to the light side.
have I?
Yeah.
Because I don't feel that way.
Once
I
you
feel
figure,
like I'm losing my mind.
once you figure out the certain things, and I
Doesn't feel
can
good.
always help you.
Oh, thank you.
I can
'cause
help you
I'm doing
fully.
it all wrong, obviously.
But
Why is it so
well, because it has 5 different volumes. So if you do the flip down and hit the bell all the way to silent, then it silences everything. If you hit the volume key and you
That's
hit
not
that
it.
thing,
Yeah, like why?
you have to turn all of them down, and then it'll still make noise if you didn't silence the main silencer.
Oh, so I got to do the volume thing too?
No.
No.
If you did that one, it'll take care of all of it.
Okay.
But if you only do the volume ones,
Yeah.
it might, because you may have silenced the ringtone, but not the notifications or whatever.
Oh my gosh. I'm still learning.
But the other
and I'm
things that
really
you'll
failing.
find
I'm
that you'll
failing.
like when you have a bunch of different apps open and you're like, I need to clear my phone, you hit that far left hamburger.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm failing.
And you hit that button and you can clear all of them out with one button instead of like Apple where you have to flip them all up. So I'm sure there's goods and bads of both. I have to deal with both all the time.
Okay.
Because my mom has an Apple and I have Android. And my husband has Android and I hate Apple. But I used to have to work and have an Apple as well.
Okay.
So that's where New Year's resolutions, I did not know they were that old.
Yeah, I didn't either. I totally thought this was like a
Like
hippy
a modern,
Yeah.
like a more modern day kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the Babylonian origins, the Babylonians were the first to make New Year's resolutions, which were intertwined with religion, mythology, and power.
so basically to make us all feel bad.
Yeah, pretty much. The Babylonians celebrated the new year in mid-March when crops were planted and made promise to the gods. They also returned borrowed tools and equipment and pledged to repay debts. The Babylonians believed that keeping their promises would bring good fortune in the new year.
Okay.
And then, of course, I read the part where in 46, he changed it to January 1st, Julius Caesar. So that's how old New Year's resolutions are,
Do you think
according
they
to
were
this.
better at keeping them back then than
Probably because you got
are?
beheaded a lot back then.
See that? Yeah.
See, if you
you're
failed to
probably
pay your
right.
debts and you
Yeah,
failed to return
yeah,
tools, you failed to do
yeah.
things, you died.
What do you think their resolutions were versus now? Because it probably wasn't lose weight and get healthier.
No, because they were probably they were quite. If you look even back at Prairie Days,
Yeah.
if they survived famine and they survived the flu
Yeah. They
or
were
whatever,
happy.
they were super healthy and super fit because they
Right.
had to work the farms and they had to
Right.
work.
So what would your resolution be back then?
So a resolution would probably, what would it be?
like
Have more crops.
right, like earn. Would it be because like to earn more money would probably be considered like blasphemous or like a faux pas,
I
right?
don't think so. I don't think so because they were very much about making money.
Oh yeah.
It,
It
historically,
wasn't considered a religious against the law to like want more things.
probably. I mean, greed has always been there. So I'm pretty sure that was always a thing. That's the one thing you won't get crucified for is being greedy. You
Yeah.
become the crucifiers when you
Yeah.
become the higher, greedier
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, sure. Interesting.
I would say it might be something like have more kids
Oh,
because they
be a better wife.
yeah, I doubt that. It was have more kids so I could have bigger crops.
Okay.
You know, have more kids so I can have more crops. The wife maybe like baking more.
Okay. Could you be an old-fashioned wife?
No. I'm not the subservient type. And I would have been Annie Oakley.
Yeah.
Had I,
Yeah.
and there are times that I go, I was born in the wrong
Yeah.
decade and era
Yeah.
or something, because I really love some of the fashions
Right.
from different eras.
Right.
But my favorite is like the 1940s, how classy the ladies dressed
Yeah.
and how classy the men dressed.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
and but so I'm like I'm not a feminist. I don't
Okay.
consider myself a feminist. I'm very strong in my belief that I think women can do anything. I don't think they should.
Right.
And I think if you really have that drive and that desire to do what the men are doing, you really want, say you want to be special forces or something like that. I think if you want to be as one of the guys and you want to be in that world of whatever they can do, I can do, and I can do it better, then I think that you should do it at the same level as them.
Yeah.
When I was in the Army, I was in helicopters.
Sure.
I wasn't a pilot, but I was on the crew, and I always strived to be as good as they were. So like even when I was in basic training, I found out what the male
Prereqs
requirements were, and I did what they were required to do.
Right.
If they had to do this many push-ups, I wanted to do this many push-ups. And it's super funny because I still have an old card from way back then, and I literally have my PT scores, what I needed, taped to the back of it.
Nice.
Because I wanted to know how many push-ups I need to do, how many this I need to do. And I strive to be as good as them at the same level as them.
Right.
Like not as good as them, but doing it girl way.
Right.
Like I've never bought into that crap.
Right.
I don't think that we all have to just because we have to, or they all should let us because we have to.
Right.
I think there's a difference between men and women, and we both are not successful at the same thing. And I also don't believe in typical gender roles type of thing. My husband and I both help clean when things need to be cleaned.
Right.
My husband is the primary cook in our house. He cooks most meals. I do cook. I can cook. I can cook really well.
Right.
But I don't hate it. I just am not a Betty homemaker.
Right.
I'm not into cooking and baking. Sometimes I will. Like there's certain things I make that I do really well. I make a killer pie.
What
But
kind of pie?
Well, I make a raspberry pie.
Okay.
And I make a killer apple pie.
Nice.
My apple pie has multiple different types of apples in it. And I mean, I start from scratch with the fresh. Well, I have the apples there. I cut whenever my apples start getting a little bit like, I don't know if I really want to eat that anymore. I cut them up. I slice them up. I take all the brown parts off of them, and then I freeze them.
Okay.
And then that way, when I want to make applesauce, I have fresh apples to make applesauce or make apple pie.
Okay.
And 1 year, and now it's a staple for my apple pie. 1 year I was making it, and I didn't have enough of the gelatin stuff that you need to make it thicker. and I didn't know what I was going to do. All the stores were closed. What was I going to do? I went digging through my cupboard for anything, and I had apricot jam.
Okay.
And I had, ironically, I don't know why, I must have been gifted it or something, but I had 2 jars of apricot jam with all the pieces of the apricot in it.
Okay.
So I said, well, that's thick. So I scooped all that into my pie mix and I mixed it all up. And now I make a apple pie apricot pie.
Interesting.
And
okay.
it has just that slight little bit of tang in it.
Yeah.
And everyone goes like, what is in here? It's so good. And I'm like, it's apricot. So it's an interesting pie.
Yeah.
So resolutions for me, I have given up on doing resolutions.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I feel it's a Debbie Downer.
Yeah, you get really down on yourself.
If
and
you
then you feel like
if you
you're a
fail
failure.
at it or you're not doing it and you realize you're not doing it, it can be the double-edged sword
Absolutely.
that gets you down. So it's sort of New Year's resolution in
To not
itself
have a
without calling it
resolution, yeah.
without calling it a resolution, of acknowledging the changes you need to make
yeah.
and striving to make them, and how can you be more successful. I'm more successful when I write lists
Sure.
and I write goals, and but we should be doing that on a regular basis
Absolutely.
anyway. So I really do more like a monthly resolution
Okay.
every month. Like
Yeah.
this month I want, and it's not a resolution, it's goals.
Right.
This month I have a goal to get this.
Yeah.
This month I have a goal, and if I haven't completely achieved it, I can extend it to the next month
Absolutely.
without feeling so down on myself that I failed.
Right.
I feel like a resolution itself is a path to failure and a path to taking yourself down.
Yeah.
And if you already have issues with self-deprecation or
Easily.
or self-doubt,
Yeah.
or I have an absolute I don't know what it would be called. I know there is a saying for it, but the feel of failure so you don't try something.
Right.
I have that. I know I
Right.
do, because I can get all the way to something. For
And then just
example,
stop.
I have a book that I wrote.
Okay.
It is 380 pages.
Wow.
And I've had it done for a really long time. I even went to a writers conference. It's called a pitch conference in New York with publishers and agents and the whole 9 yards. You had to bring the first 4 chapters, and it costs a lot of money to go, but it's
Right.
also a competition.
Okay.
Like you have to submit and you have to apply, and they only select, I think they only select about 50 or 80 people a year out of all the submissions worldwide.
Okay.
And thousands of people apply. I applied for 4 years in a row.
Oh.
And every year I got
Yeah.
the red slip paper, the red letter, whatever.
The letter,
Sorry,
yeah.
but no thanks.
Yeah.
And in 2015 or 2015, I got the letter that said, you have been accepted.
Nice.
And I was so excited. We paid for it. My son, Sam, went with me to New York. And it was really cool. It was a really cool experience, too. So my son drove with me to New York because I was in South Carolina working at the time. So he drove with me to New York. And I am frugal and excuse me. I'm frugal and spendy at the same time.
Sure.
Like I want to get the best for my buck.
Right.
I want to get the biggest bang, but
Right.
I also don't want to stay in a dump when I'm
Right.
traveling. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. So I wanted to stay at a nice place.
Right.
And where we were having our thing was right down in Manhattan. And so I looked at, obviously, the hotels there. Primarily, my husband and I stay at Hilton's and Marriott's or whatever. Mostly, I like both. He prefers Hilton's. And so, of course, we gain the points every time. And you can use those for other stays.
Right.
But I looked at the places down near where this was going to be, and oh my God,
Yeah, that's not.
the cost was absolutely redunculous.
Yeah.
And I knew what a budget I had, so I went outside of the city
Sure.
and I went to Queens,
Okay.
and we stayed at a Hilton in Queens, or it might have been a Marriott. I don't remember. Anyway, we had a double suite room with a hot tub,
Nice.
or a jetted tub, and not a hot tub, but a jetted tub, and 2 beds and a couch and little sitting area. So we had a really nice room and the parking garage. Now we made the decision and the plan when we got there to park the garage in the parking garage and never leave. We
Okay.
took the subway everywhere we needed to go. My son just explored New York while we were there, and I went to my conference. Now, the reason I'm talking about the hotel is because of the funny part of it. Because the other people in there were, where'd you stay? Where'd you stay? How much you pay? How much you pay? And this one guy's like, holy crap, I paid like over $4,000 or something for the room. And he's like, it's almost like you open the door and you have to step up onto the bed because that's how small the rooms
Sure.
are. And I'm just sitting there very quiet, not saying a word. And they're like, well, you're being quiet. Where did you stay? And I'm like, I'm staying in Queens. I have
Right.
a suite
Right.
with a jetted tub
Right.
and 2 beds and a living room set. They're like, what?
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I just like
Research,
take
man.
research and take the subway.
Right.
So I went and I did it, and we had the week was 4 days of writing your pitch and working with coaches to help you hone your pitch down.
Nice.
And then the final day and a half was actually getting to take your pitch in to these agents, publishers, and they were like the senior editors of Random House, of these big places, and some of the big agents. And your goal was to get their card. Your goal was for them to say, I like what you're putting out. And we had a couple of groups, and we had, our group has a coach. I think we had like 10 or 20 people in our group. And then when you have your coach, and the coaches were all editors, publishers, agents. And there was a particular guy there, no matter what the criticism was from anyone, it was, you guys don't know what you're talking. It reminds me of those ones that go to American Idol, and then when you tell them they can't sing,
Yeah.
they're like, you guys don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So we honed each other's pitches, and then we did the pitches with each other, or what, because you're trying to do a 1-minute elevator pitch is basically what your goal is.
Okay.
And you want to catch them in that 1 minute,
Okay.
that by the end of that 1 minute, they want to give you their card and they want to
Sure.
see the rest of your stuff.
Sure.
And you carry your 4 chapters with you so that
You can
if
back
they
it up.
ask for it,
Yeah.
you have it to give it to them.
Sure.
And so we all went through it, and some people came out, fucking, this is bullshit, and da 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 da.
Yeah.
They want me to change my whole thing, and I'm like, dude, your story is like all over the fucking place.
Sure.
Yeah. So I went in there, did my pitch. I got a card from every single one I pitched.
Good job.
I got to pitch 4 times, and then I never did anything with it.
Yeah.
I think I got scared
Sure.
of getting that far and then failing.
Yeah.
And then I put the cards away,
Yeah.
and I said, and one of them on there particularly, she's like, anytime. I
Right.
don't care. Sometimes people get caught up with their books and they never get to it, or it takes them years
Right.
to finish or years to get done. But this is an open thing. As
Yeah.
long as you have a copy of my card and you can show me, I want to see it.
Right.
And she said also sometimes it's depending on the relevancy, what's selling right now. Your book may not sell right now. Like they even told us, if your book beforehand, if your book is even about vampires and werewolves and stuff, it ain't gonna sell right now.
Right.
Or
Whatever. Yeah.
it's saturated, so don't
Right.
bother. We're not gonna buy any of those.
Sure.
And so I waited, and years later, I pulled it out. Like 2 years ago, I pulled it out and printed it, started editing, and I was 4 chapters from being done with the book. That's
And
how
then
far I
stopped
got.
again.
And no, that's how far it was.
Right.
And when I pulled it out and started editing it, I was 4 chapters from being done. Or in my mind, I had 4 chapters left.
Right.
And so I wrote 4 more chapters. And now I'm at the last chapter. I'm at what is my conclusion? I can go this direction or this direction. And the other day I was unpacking stuff in my shop and going through some things, and I found an old ass wallet, opened it up, and those cards are in there. And I was like, is this a sign I'm supposed to actually do something with this now? And I've gotten a heck for it quite a few times. And that's when I stopped doing resolutions.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of this whole story, is that's when I
That's the
stopped
point.
doing my resolutions,
Sure.
because every year I made the resolution, I will finish my book and go work on getting it published.
Right.
I will finish my book and go work and and then I would be down on myself because I didn't
Right.
finish my book. And it turned me into this whole feeling bad about
Self-deprecating
myself and fear of failure. And
Yeah.
and there's the same as fear of failure. There's also fear of success,
Right. Absolutely.
like fear of it going well.
So
fear
do you try to break things down into smaller chunks instead? Mm-hmm. And how does it help?
It does. It helps me. I mean, like when I first started writing, I went and I pulled all these books on how to write.
Right.
You know, because everybody's a scholar on everything. You know, there are people out there that they think they know everything and they don't know a lot.
Right.
There are people who are actually very knowledgeable on things, and they might be the people to listen to.
Right.
So I started pulling all these books on how to write a novel, because I'd never written a novel. I was a
Right.
journalist. So I wrote articles.
Right.
And award-winning articles.
Right.
You ask me to write you an article, I can pull up the information. I can have you an article in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And pressure, I'm really good at pressure, but I'm also very good at procrastination.
Right.
So like I would tell people, when you want something done, if I had a article that my editor wanted, he's like, hey, I want you to get to this. When do you need it? I don't know. Whenever. So it would go in my pile. Guess what I never do with my pile?
Never look.
I never look at my pile and never pull my pile out, because I have deadline stuff that I have to do.
Right.
I have things that are on a schedule. I have things that have to happen.
Right.
So I would tell people, if you want this done, give me a date. And I do the
Right.
same thing for my art business. When I make something for you, don't tell me, hey, I'd love to make this whenever you can.
Right. You have to give me a
You
date.
have to
give me
say,
a
I
time.
need this by this date,
Right.
and I will do it.
Right.
And if I say, you know, I told you yesterday, if there's something that you want to make, there's 2 options with me. You can say, hey, can you make this? And I can say, yeah, I can. This is how much it's going to cost.
Right.
Or, hey, can we make this? And I'll come to your shop and you can show me how and help me.
Right.
I'll provide all the materials. Or if I have to provide them, just cover the cost of my materials.
Right.
But, don't just leave it at that then
Right.
you have to say, hey, can I come on Tuesday at 2
We have to
o'clock?
finalize this.
Because then I'm going to say, yeah, I'm available on Tuesday, 2 o'clock. Let's do this.
Yep.
Because I will always, I'm very, very big about fulfilling what I've already promised.
Right.
And if you have an open door to excuse your way out of it, most people will take that door.
I agree with that.
Like when I
agree.
was in law enforcement, my buddy Vicky, she stayed all her whole career and retired. She ended up being a dive master for the police department and was their dive master along with being a great police officer and everything. And her and I used to go run for our fitness for the academy because we had lots of running in the academy.
Right.
We got to run for every punishment. We had to run.
Right.
So, running was a big part of it. So we did our own stuff. We'd go climbing, we'd go rock climbing, we'd go do all this
Right.
stuff. But we had a rule that in the morning when it was time to be there, neither one of us was allowed to text each other or call and say, "Are you coming?"
Right.
It was a verboten.
Right.
Because as soon as I say, "Hey, are you coming?" I don't know. I'm not
Right.
really feeling it. Then what you do is the other person goes, "Yeah, me neither."
Right.
So, you both give each other the door
Yep.
to the
it.
excuse lane, and
Yeah.
if given that door, most people will take it.
Absolutely.
But if that door is not available,
You're going.
like our deal was, you show up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yep.
And every morning, I'm going to be there at 4:30 because I know you're waiting on me.
Yep.
And I'm always late. Everybody knows this. I've been working on it for years. So I would make the effort to be there.
Yep.
And I expect you to do it too.
Yeah.
So she was always there.
Yeah.
And there was times we would get there and go, "Man, I was not feeling this today. I
Yeah.
did not want to do this
But I
today.
don't
I don't
wanna
want to
let you
do it
down."
now."
Yeah.
But we're here.
Yeah.
We're already here. We got our water bottles. We're in our whatever clothes we're wearing for this climb. And it was Arizona, so rarely
Right.
did we wear anything but shorts.
Right.
And we would do our hike or our run or whatever it was we were going to do, but we didn't give each other the exit door,
Right.
the excuse door, I call it.
Yep.
If
Yep.
somebody gives you the excuse door, it is easy to walk through it. And, it's like, I've written down on one of my pads for future shows and stuff, space and grace.
Yep.
Have we become to a point where we now can use that as the escape door,
Absolutely.
as the excuse door?
Oh, totally.
Space and
it's
grace, is it now a
easy. Once you
crutch?
start, it just goes. It's
Oh,
a
just give
downhill.
yourself space and grace. Well,
Yeah,
hey,
you have to be very
maybe stop bitching and start doing.
Right. Yep.
Maybe suck it up, buttercup. And
Right.
I have to do that. Now, I do have to give myself space and grace because I have other issues that I have to battle. But you have to really be more
conscious.
mindful and more on.
You have to ask
path.
yourself about that. Like,
Yeah.
what is this a legitimate excuse? How am I going to pick myself up and keep going after this one thing? And
Right.
Absolutely.
If there's a setback,
Yeah.
how do you
keep going.
repivot
After.
and how do you go forward
Yeah.
without feeling bad, without being angry, without hurt feelings, without whatever the case is? How
Absolutely.
do you move forward? And that's where I find resolutions to be a negative. Because if
Absolutely.
you can't if you
Yeah.
can't do it, then you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah.
Then you feel like you've failed. And feeling like a failure is can be very demoralizing.
Absolutely.
So speaking of that, failing, let's go into success instead first.
Okay.
New Year's resolutions can be successful, but how many fail to keep them?
Okay.
So the search was how successful are New Year's resolutions?
Okay.
So this
the
is not
answer?
how many people, but how successful are New Year's resolutions.
Yes.
So success rate, some say that only 9% of Americans who make resolutions
I
complete
believe
them.
that. Actually, I feel like that's a little high.
I think
to
that's a
be
bit
honest.
high.
Yeah.
Others say that 46% of people keep their resolutions for at least 6 months and 8% keep them for the entire year. Reasons for failure. Some reasons people give for failing their resolutions include setting unrealistic goals,
Yes.
not having enough motivation, and going too hard too quickly?
I think realistically, the reasons people fail is because their goals, they set them as, say, for example, I'm going to lose weight instead of I'm going to lose weight, this is how. And then they say, I'm going to eat this many calories, or I'm going to walk 4 times a week, or I'm going to exercise 20 minutes, like setting specific
You have to set the macro goal and the
Yeah.
micro goals.
Exactly.
And if you don't do that, I think it is a setup for failure to begin with.
Exactly.
And so many people are like, I'm going to lose 100 pounds.
Right.
Is that a realistic goal, or is that a head in the clouds goal?
Right.
You
And
know-
they don't reward themselves or let themselves have the dopamine either. Like, okay, I did like this for a week, so now
Right.
what can I do to say, hey, I did this? So, and that, like, there's no, and that
There's no
sucks, man.
there's no reward. You need to
Yeah.
have some kind of reward, and it doesn't have to be in the form of food.
No.
But like when I have dieted,
yeah.
I set goals of I want to lose 5 to 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Once I reach that 5 to 10 pounds, I can add 5 to 10 more.
Yes.
But if I say to myself, I need to lose 100 pounds,
Oh, I'm not doing it.
I'm
I'm
gonna
lucky if I can lose 5.
I'm gonna quit.
Yeah.
2 pounds in.
Oh yeah. You know,
You
like,
know.
oh, I didn't, it's not happening. So oops.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Well, and with my
I'm the person that gets on the scale after a workout and I'm like, oh, that didn't work. Like literally. And I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah, exactly.
I am that person.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, I quit very easily on that type of
Yeah.
thing because I don't see results.
Yes.
And losing weight is like growing hair for me.
Right.
I have hypothyroid
yeah.
and autoimmune and a second autoimmune, and I don't talk about it a lot, but dealing with that,
Yeah.
I can't lose weight to save my life. Like I am on a really healthy
Right.
diet.
And instead of recognizing like, hey, I did go to the gym and I'm noticing I have more energy and I feel more positive today, and celebrating those things. They're
Celebrate the
focusing-
small wins can
Right.
get you to the big win.
Exactly.
But
And
when you
that's-
set such high goals and high expectations for yourself, and to be honest with you, I think the other one that they should add in their reasons for failure is doing it alone.
Yes, and not
Because I
asking
think
people to celebrate
and it's
cheer you
it's
on,
okay
and-
whether it's your spouse
Right.
or a good friend
Right.
or a coworker,
Right.
something like that, where you say, "Hey, I want to lose some weight.
Why do you
I want
think
to go to
people
the gym."
Don't do that. I have my reasons. I want to hear yours.
I think
first.
I think some people do that because one, it's the fear of failure, but
Okay.
two, it's also I think that they look at judging. They
Yeah.
think the other person's going to judge them.
Yep.
Plus, they judge themselves against someone else's skills and abilities.
Yep.
And okay, so for example, a couple of years ago, I did do a gym challenge.
Okay.
I went, they had an ad for it. I went there and they talked me into doing the challenge.
Okay.
I signed up for it. And I am that person that is so competitive, I'll trip my mama to win,
Okay.
which can also be a very unhealthy thing.
Sure.
So we did lots of crunches, lots of squats, and one of the things that our coach did that was really cool, one of our coaches, is send me a selfie anytime, anywhere you are doing crunches
Sure.
or doing squats, and I'll reward you when you come back to the gym.
Okay.
So lots of us were doing squats somewhere here and somewhere there, and we'd pose and
Okay.
take a picture and send it in, and he would reward us by the attaboys. That we didn't actually get anything, but the thought that you were gonna get something, and then when you got acknowledged, it was the
was like,
same as
yeah.
getting an actual word, because he's putting you out there in every. Hey, I just want to say a shout out to Tori, because she went out and she was doing this and she did squats at the grocery store and she sent me a picture, and way to go, yada
Okay.
yada. So it became very competitive.
Okay.
And then we had a end of the challenge
Okay.
right at the very end, and it was your whole group, everyone's doing squats and they're timing it, and somebody's counting, and it's the winner who can do the most squats, whatever.
Okay.
And I'm the heaviest in our little group. We had like 10 or 12 people in our group, and I was the heaviest one in the group, and I did over 500 squats. I beat everyone in the group
Your
because
butt
I
looked-
was so
your butt looked
competitive.
Fabulous.
And my butt did look fabulous, I will
Yeah,
admit. I have a
yeah.
big booty too. But when the whole challenge was over, I lost 20 pounds.
Nice.
And I did not meet my goal, but I did lose 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was in better shape than ever for the longest time. Then my husband had joined a kickboxing.
Okay.
I love kickboxing.
yeah.
And then he brought me in with him, and I used to kickbox. Oh, like I did it
Awesome.
for 12 years.
Yeah.
I loved it. My body can't do it anymore.
Sure.
I have to. That is one of those times where you do have to give yourself the space and grace and say,
Right.
you have to acknowledge certain things that you just can't physically do anymore
Sure.
because of the issues you have.
Sure.
And so I went with him, and it was the end of my going to a gym at all,
Right.
because I did it with him, went 2 or 3 times, and then I couldn't walk. Like, I could not get physically out of bed. I could not walk. My legs would not work. And it wasn't like muscle pain. It was my body was shutting down because I was overdoing it. I mean, it was before I had my diagnosis, so we
Yeah.
didn't know that that was really what was going on. But it was an absolute,
Yeah.
and I felt like a huge failure. I never went back to the gym at all.
Yeah.
Like, instead of taking that, like, hey, maybe you can't do this,
Let's look at something
but
else.
you can do this.
Yeah.
And they had made a lot of modified exercises for me at the gym I went to.
Yeah.
A lot of modifications, because you can't do this and you can't do that. But I would kill it on the ones that they gave me. And then
Right.
I went there and overdid it so bad that I could not walk, and it set my mind in such a negative
you're in a
space,
dark place, yeah.
that I never went back at all.
Yep. I understand.
And so that, I think, is a big part of, you have to have a good support system.
Absolutely.
So I think that's the one thing that's missing as to why they aren't successful. Because if you don't
Sure.
set yourself up with a good support system, I know that Alicia and her husband have lost a lot of weight.
Okay.
And they have changed lifestyle, and they're doing keto, and but they're doing it together.
Right.
And because they're doing it together,
That makes a huge
they're
difference.
much more successful.
Sure.
And you can hear her when she's like, oh, I'm not going to have that. I'm not going to do that because my keto diet doesn't allow this.
Sure.
And I even caught myself, and now I regret it. I feel bad about it, because I'm like, oh, it won't hurt you just today.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
one time. You can try this one time. And it's like, well, aren't we over the age of peer pressure?
Right.
Like, you have to try
Yeah,
this
don't do
because
that.
I want you to try it.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't be that person.
Yeah, and I know I did sort of
Right.
go, well, aren't you going to cheat on Thanksgiving? Aren't you going to cheat on Christmas? That
Yeah.
kind of thing. And it's like, well, if they're doing it very successfully,
Why do you want to ruin that?
why do you want to
Or
ruin
why do
that?
you want to put that idea in their head? Discuss
Right.
them
Why does
out
anyone
about
want to put that in someone
Yeah.
else's head that it's okay
Right.
because I said it was okay?
Right.
Is it really? No, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not okay. Like,
Yeah.
let them do their thing
Right.
their way.
Yeah.
And I think they have to have the support system.
Absolutely.
It's like the drug addict
Right, or
quitting
the
doing drugs or
alcoholic, and
alcohol, and
yeah.
you're like, is it all right if I drink?
Right.
Maybe don't.
Right.
Can
Exactly.
can you not withstand it for that period of time that they're around you?
Right.
So if you can't not have a drink when an alcoholic's around you, maybe you need to look at yourself.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
Point your fingers. You know, when you point fingers at somebody, there's always one pointing back at you.
Right.
That's what my drill sergeant used to say. So he didn't point.
Yeah. Just do this.
He did the hand, and I still do that. But
Knife hand.
When you point, 90% of the time the thumb's out, so you're pointing back at yourself. So, now this goes on to say benefits. Many people do benefit from making resolutions. The fresh start effect is psychological phenomenon that can motivate people to make positive changes. And there are some tips for success. Do you want to hear the tips for success?
What are the tips for success?
Some tips for keeping resolutions include being forgiving of failures, viewing setbacks as lessons, and looking for new milestones. People may also be more successful at keeping approach-oriented goals, like changing eating habits rather than avoidance-oriented goals.
Okay.
So rather than avoiding something, just changing something.
Sure.
You know, I'm not going
Making
to.
it smaller.
Yeah.
Looking at it as something different.
I'm not going to avoid sugar,
Yeah.
but I'm going to
Decrease.
I'm going to decrease this, or I'm
Yeah.
going to change. Like,
Instead of having 3 cups of coffee, I'm going to have 2 this week. And
Right.
then maybe next
Right.
week I'll have 1.
well, like I did. Soda is a big problem for me. I
Yeah.
love soda. I like probably the caffeine in it, but I like the sugar. I like the
Yeah,
bubbles. I
I
like
like the
soda.
fizz.
I like it. And so this is the first case of Pepsi my husband has bought me in probably 4 or 5 months now, 4 months. Because I said no more soda in the house. But how I do that is if we go out to eat or we go something, I can get a soda.
Sure.
But I don't have it in the house because I would turn around and it wasn't even like I did it on purpose. I would go over to where my chair is or whatever, and I would see, and there's 3 cans of Pepsi. Like I drank 3 cans of Pepsi today, or there would be 4.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty clean.
Right.
You know, I throw things away, but like, how many did I drink? How fast that I have 4 sitting there?
Sure.
That means I drank them so quickly that I went and got another one without even throwing one away.
Yeah.
That's bad. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So I knew that if they're
I
here,
gotta ask, how much Mountain Dew did your husband drink daily when he was in the Marine Corps?
none. He doesn't like Mountain Dew.
Really? Mine did a 2-liter of Mountain Dew every single day for like 4 years. Now he just drinks water and fizzy water. I'm so proud of him, but I have never seen anything. I was like, dude, you're gonna give yourself an ulcer. That was the
My son drinks Mountain Dew.
How much?
And I don't know how much he drinks.
Oh my
That's a
God.
good question.
Like a straight 2-liter. Like he just have a 2-liter. I'm like, oh
and drink it like a
Yeah.
soda bottle.
what
Whoa,
is
that's
that?
a lot. Yeah.
I think now the younger guys are probably going with like Monsters and those like whatever. But I'm
My
like,
husband has a monster problem.
yeah,
He-
I
he dr-
believe that. That's probably what it is for him.
He,
But
he
like,
drinks. He will buy a case of Monsters at BJ's or
believe
Costco
that.
or whatever, and I'll go out there and be like, "Holy shit, they're all gone!" Like, how
yeah.
many did you drink?
What is
Like, it's
it?
not healthy.
Yeah.
It's not good for you.
There's no way.
And
How
but
does your heart-
Pepsi's the same way. All
Yeah.
that stuff, stuff that isn't good for you is
It's like-
okay in small increments.
Right.
But if you get a box of candy
Right.
for Christmas, let's say, I mean, our family loves See's candy. Like I grew up on See's
See's
candy
candy?
from the West Coast. It's very popular on the West Coast, but you can get
Okay.
it here. You can get it. There's a See's candy store here.
Okay.
We grew up on See's candy. My
Okay.
my grandmother used to get us all See's candy, and my husband. This is the first Christmas I did not get See's candy.
Oh no.
But I'm very specific about what I like.
All right.
So I forgive him 100%. The only time I can get See's candy is if he's on the trip somewhere where they have a See's candy store that has the candies in store. Because I
Okay.
only like certain ones.
Okay.
I don't like a box of random.
There
because
you go.
I don't
now
like
we
nuts.
can't just randomly get you
Yeah,
some. That kind of
I don't like nuts. I have specific ones I like.
Okay.
So if I go to the candy store, I will pick all the ones I like and fill my box.
Okay.
But they're also expensive.
Okay.
But my box, and this is something that I am really proud of, and it didn't matter how much weight I had. I don't really like chocolate.
Okay.
I don't really like those type of candies very much, so it'll last me. I like specific ones,
Sure.
and that's it. That's the only, and it's all dark chocolate. I don't like milk chocolate at all. So I can make a box of See's candy last me 6 months.
Nice.
I will take a bite. I will take one piece out and put it in the freezer.
Good for you.
I will take one piece out, and I've had to throw away candy bars because they were in my office drawer. I don't have a drawer here now, so but when we were moving, I opened my desk drawer, and I had 3.
Whoops.
I had 3. You know those big candy bars,
Yep.
the special dark.
Yeah.
Or another brand that's dark chocolate.
Yeah.
And, half the bar or a quarter, 3/4 of it was
Yeah.
still there, wrapped up. And I opened it up and it's all white.
Yeah.
Like it's all powdery. Like it's
Oopsie.
no longer a candy bar.
Sorry, I
And throw
forgot.
it in the trash because I forgot about it.
Yep.
That's a good problem to have.
That's a healthy thing.
Forgetting
Yeah.
that you had
Yeah.
candy is a good thing rather
Yeah.
than I ate all
For
the
sure.
candy.
For sure.
So but I have to set those things for me. Now, like you hand me a big old bag of gummy bears and I'll have that gone.
Okay.
So
Haribo or what's the other one? Black Forest.
I like both of them.
Okay, so you don't have a preference?
I don't like the ones from the generic.
Okay.
I like those two, but I don't really care for the generic.
Okay.
And you can get the big bag that has all the different colors on it from like, I don't know, Costco or whatever it is. Don't like them.
Okay.
I don't like those ones. I even had a gummy bear. I had a little thing that was on my bed years and when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Okay. And I used to lick the bottom of the gummy bear and I put him on this little stand and I would have my little rainbow of gummy bears and they were stuck there because once I got them all wet, they would become
would move.
like glue.
Yeah.
And they would stick on this thing. It was like a little wooden thing. And I would I would hit them and then it was before
How long did it
bobbleheads.
take you to figure that out, that it would do that?
I don't know. And
My
I don't even know why I know that.
My son got a 5-pound gummy bear for Christmas one year, and it like mortified me because you can't eat 5 pounds of gummy bear in one sitting. So he would like chew. Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of gross.
Yeah, I was like, you're not really. Oh yeah, he really was.
Chew off the ear.
Yeah, like, and then, oh god,
Cut you a chunk.
It happened. That happened for real.
Well, yeah, that's
That's why I love
bought my
boys
mom
so
one of
much.
those giant like 20-pound candy bars.
Yeah.
one
Oh
year.
boy. Yeah.
Yeah, that was not good because I wrapped it and put it under the tree. Well, dogs can smell food
Oh, yes,
under
they
the tree.
can. Yeah.
And I came in and
It
there
was-
was a 3/4 eaten candy bar by my Doberman. And so she had eaten like probably 20 out of the 25-pound candy bar. Oh, I took her straight to the vet.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
My dog
baby.
just ate,
Oh baby.
10 or 15. She was
Lesson
fine.
learned,
She didn't have
yeah.
any problems at all. No diarrhea, no
Yeah.
nothing. She was fine. So I don't know. So I think the biggest thing that causes failure for a resolution would be not having a good support system.
Yeah,
I think that's your
I-
number one.
I would agree
and
with
it
that.
should be on your number one.
Yeah,
reasons
so
for-
I think before probably what would probably help is when you're making those, identifying who's going to help you and asking them like, hey, I'm going to do this, having that conversation. This is my plan, or letting them know this is my
Can you-
plan. Can you
can
check
you be
in
my
with me
support
on that?
system?
Yeah, I think that
Can
would be
you
a
be
great
my
thing.
my coach? Can you be
Absolutely.
my what did they say?
Like be a check-in.
My person that
Yeah.
keeps me my accountability
Yeah.
partner,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And I think less people go into this much thought or
Right.
idea on resolutions.
Absolutely.
They just go, oh, my New Year's
This is
resolution
what I'm doing.
boom,
Bam, done.
and they don't like think through.
Yeah.
What can I be successful with? And there are things like in business planning,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have your macro and your micros
Right.
and you have to
set it
have
up,
goal
yeah.
settings, and you have to have weekly, you have your daily goal settings, your weekly goal settings, your monthly
monthly,
goal
your
settings, your
quarterly,
quarterly, and
Yeah.
it goes on. And those are all macros and micros to the big goal. At
Yep.
the end of this many years,
Exactly.
at the 3-year mark, all these should get us to here.
Yep. Exactly.
And if you just set this
think of your body
with
and
nothing
your
else in
life,
between those,
Yep. As a business. This
Yeah.
is your brand. Your body, your life is your brand. So
Yeah.
how are you going to build it that way? Look at who you're with. And if you can't ask them to be, then who are you actually with? Maybe you should look at that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if
But-
they're not going to be accountable, and if you're not willing to be accountable for them either,
Yeah.
because it goes both ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now on the reverse question, how many people quit New Year's resolutions? That is a different question, but equally, I don't think that they were fair in I did a Google search.
How many people quit?
So of course
Okay,
it's
sure.
going to be a different search answer, but technically it should be the same
Okay.
because how many are successful and how many quit, the numbers should be similar.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, they should be similar,
yeah.
but are they?
Right.
No, they're not.
Right.
So how many people give up on their New Year's resolutions?
And they said like 9% and then 8% at one point.
Yeah, on the how many are successful, it says that 46% of people, others say, 46% of people keep their resolutions for at least 6 months and 8% keep them for the entire year.
Yeah.
And the beginning of that, though, says that only 9% of Americans who make resolutions complete them.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what how successful are New Year's resolution
Right.
question. Now, most research now is an AI result.
Right.
So it hears a different question.
Right, it's
so
summarizing
it's summarizing
differently.
the different things.
Yeah.
How many people give up on their New Year's resolutions with estimates ranging from 80 to 95%? I think that's much more accurate.
I do.
And within 2 weeks, some studies say that 88% of people who make resolutions fail within the first 2 weeks.
I believe that too.
I believe that.
100%.
By mid-February, according to U.S. News and World Report, see, the other one didn't give any,
right.
any,
it was just summarizing
yeah.
everybody. Yeah.
Most people lose their motivation and resolve by mid-February.
Also, Valentine's Day is that time frame, and people are like, "I have
Well,
things."
I gotta have my chocolate from my husband, and we gotta go out to that fancy dinner where I
Right.
buy all this bad
Right.
food for myself.
Right.
The giant
butter
baked
for
potato.
the lobster.
Yeah, yesterday was our anniversary.
Right.
So we went to, if you've ever been there, we went to Connor's
I have not.
Steakhouse
How was
at
it?
Bridge Street.
It was good.
It was amazing.
Really?
Great food.
Good.
If you are a creme brulee person, I love creme brulee.
Good.
But tell them, don't put that powdered sugar shit on top.
No. Okay. Good
I'm
to know.
sorry. A creme brulee is the custard
Yeah.
with a hard shell sugar top that's burned on.
Right.
You don't then cover it with snow. And
Yeah.
they covered that with powdered sugar.
That's an interesting take on that.
And I'm sure they did it for aesthetics, looks, or
Right.
whatever. And then they put like 3 berries. My
Yeah,
husband,
that was
I love
definitely a
berries.
visual,
I love
yeah.
the I think they were blackberries. I love blackberries, but my husband ate them because he knows you don't put fruit on top of the hard sugar.
Right.
Because it now is going to be soggy in that
Right.
spot.
Yeah.
You don't put powdered sugar over
Yeah.
it because that
Yeah, that-
defeats the purpose
yeah.
of the hard sugar.
Absolutely.
So, like,
What did you do?
but I'm very much a traditionalist on some things. I want traditional creme brulee.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
a ramekin
Yeah.
that, or whatever people call them,
Yeah.
different things.
They Americanized
yeah.
creme brulee,
And
basically.
It's a custard and burnt sugar on the top.
Yep.
That is creme brulee.
Yep.
Creme brulee cannot be Jell-O.
Yep.
Jell-O can never be creme brulee. Do you remember the movie?
No.
My Best Friend's Wedding. When they were in the bathroom, and, Kimmy,
Yeah.
Kimmy, Kimmy, Kimmy. I can be Jell-O. No. Creme brulee can never be Jell-O. I'll never forget that one, especially because I like creme brulee.
Yeah.
But their food was really good. We
Good.
both got a filet, baked potato, and
Nice.
so it was really good.
Good.
So it says by March, some say that 95% or more of people have given up by March completely.
Yep.
Some reasons people give up on their resolutions include, now I want to see how well we
Excellent.
depicted on what we thought would be reasons for people to quit. Some reasons people give up on their resolutions include setting goals that are too hard or idealistic. Setting too hard too quick, or going too hard too quickly.
Yep.
Not breaking larger goals into smaller, more manageable milestones. Not having a plan for what to do once the initial excitement wears off.
Okay. Yep.
And it should also have not having an
that support
accountability
system.
partner or a support system.
Yep.
To help you stick to your resolutions, you want to hear these.
Yeah.
Breaking big goals into smaller, more manageable milestones, macro, micros.
Yep.
Sharing your resolutions with a trusted friend.
Yep.
I think that should be added on. Sharing your resolutions with a trusted friend or your partner.
Yep.
And asking them to help you be accountable.
Yep.
Joining an accountability group.
There you go.
Using technology to track your progress. Hiring a
Okay.
coach.
Okay. So that, yep. It's all about
And
accountability. Yep.
I agree with all of those
Yeah.
because like I will tell my husband, I know I have a problem with this. So one of my problems, and it has to do with my health, but it also has to do with my husband loves me so much.
That he'll let
and
you get away with
he
it.
does anything.
That's mine.
If I just say, oh man, I left my purse out in the car,
I'll go get it.
he'll run and go get it.
Yep.
So I have to be cognizant of that and not say it out
Right.
loud because sometimes I'm talking to myself.
Right.
I am talking to myself. But he picks it up as I'm telling him, go get my purse from the car.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not what I said. He's
Right.
like, well, I'm going to do it. So I have to tell him the other day,
You're making me lazy, babe.
Yeah.
Let me get up.
he was literally cutting up mushrooms yesterday.
Yeah.
He was making an omelet for him and mom.
Yeah.
And I was going to meet with you. And he's cutting up mushrooms. And I said, hey, can you make me a plate of greens for the bunnies? Because I'm going to come down here, get my timer, and then I'm going to leave. And literally, as I'm in mid-sentence saying, can you make me a plate of greens for the bunnies? Because I was getting dressed. I was getting the stuff together for me to leave. And he didn't have to say it because I caught myself. And which I was glad I caught myself, but he would have stopped what he was doing and gone and got me the greens.
Right.
Instead of saying, hey, I'm cutting up mushrooms and making omelets. Can you get the green juice?
Right.
You're right there.
Right.
Can you
Dude.
not do that?
Dude.
Hello.
Yeah.
But I caught myself in mid-sentence and I'm like, why am I asking you to get me greens when you're
Right.
cutting up mushrooms?
Right. You're making breakfast.
You're
for
making
Mom
breakfast for you and
Yeah.
mom, and I'm going to ask you to go grab me the greens
Right.
from the fridge. Yes, he was closer to the fridge than I was because I
Right.
was in the other room and I was getting dressed and getting
Right.
ready. But all I had to do was finish
Walk
getting
past it.
ready, walk past it, grab the greens, grab a plate, put them on it.
Yep.
And then I had to come downstairs anyways. Now, I wasn't asking him to go feed them, just
Right. Put
you
it
know,
on there. Yeah.
make the plate. But I have to stop myself.
And how often do we do that for other people too? Stop
I'm
them,
sure a lot.
You know?
We rarely tell someone if they say, "Can you do this for me?"
Right.
if it's, hey,
Especially as moms.
can you grab my glasses?
Right. Right.
You know, and is your kid really going to say, Mom, are you really that lazy? You can't get up and go get your own glasses?
Right.
Like, no, we go, hey, you're in there. Can you grab me my
Right.
glass? Like, get up off your fat ass.
Right.
If you want your resolution to be losing some of your fat ass, stop bitching and start doing. You know, if your resolution is to lose weight and get in better shape and, you know, do
Right.
do more for
Right.
yourself, maybe don't
Right.
be lazy.
Right.
Maybe don't ask other people to do things that you should be doing for yourself. Because every
Right.
time you get up
Right.
and every time you walk into that room, even if it's, you know, going to get your glasses,
Right.
that's energy you just expelled instead of having someone do it for you.
Exactly.
It's also one of the things when it comes to eating.
Right.
I learned this a long time ago. I read this book and it was really good. It was about the mind perception on things. And like most of us as kids growing up, we were told to finish your plate.
Right.
Clean your plate. You have to clean your plate. You have to clean your plate. So if that plate is this big, you clean that plate, your mind will be, I'm full.
Right.
If the plate is this big, you're full. The plate is this big. If it's a platter,
Right.
you will eat the whole platter of food
Right.
before you're full because your brain has been told
Right.
you are not full until
Tell
that
us
plate
what
is gone.
Right.
So it talked about how you can trick your brain into thinking things differently.
Right.
Like you want the Oreo cookies and milk.
Right.
So are you going to be satisfied with the same amount? Like I would usually eat 4 to 8 cookies when I eat cookies. So I was at this time really trying to lose weight and be get in better shape or whatever. And I was reading this book at the same time. So it said, try this. Just see if it works. Take that one cookie and cut it into 8 pieces and put it on a very small, like teacup plate.
Okay.
8 little pieces of cookie and get yourself one of those miniature, I use miniature orange juice or juice cups
Okay.
and only put milk in that.
Sure.
Now you have your cup of milk and 8 cookies.
Okay.
And
Are you full?
are you done? Are you good? And I would eat that one cookie. Same way. I take the
it
2
set it
sides
off.
off and
Yeah.
I eat the center and I dunk one piece and then I like one dunked and one hard.
Yeah.
And I kind of eat them together. And everybody eats their Oreos different, so don't
Right.
judge me.
No.
But by the time I would be done with that one plate of 8 cookies and a glass of milk, I was sated.
Yeah.
Now, if I had a plate of 8 cookies and a glass of milk, I probably would have ate the whole thing.
Right.
So you can trick your mind into changing behaviors.
Absolutely.
We are lazy people in general.
Oh,
compared
absolutely.
to historically in time.
Right.
So I make myself, like if I want chips, I open the chip bag, I put a handful. I grab one handful out, put it in a bowl, and then I put the chip bag away up back in the cupboard, and I go sit with my 14 sodas and watch whatever it is I'm going to watch or on my computer or
Right.
down here or whatever. And I take that with me, and that's what I have for my snack.
Yep.
And I never go get more.
Yeah.
Because the lazy part can be a benefit too,
Right.
if you look at it from that perspective. Like give it its space,
Right.
and I won't go get more, so I don't eat the whole bag of chips. But most of us know if you take that bag of chips to the table or to your seat, next thing you know, you look over and you're like, how did I eat an entire bag of chips?
Right.
Like, how did I do that?
What just happened?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, with that note, we have 2 minutes left.
All right.
And I am going to say I'm not making a New Year's resolution.
All right.
I am going to be mindful
Yep.
and make the changes that are needed. This show was designed and developed to be about talking about healing, talking about mental health, laugh, comedy, being lighthearted on things, but really talking about self-help and healing and sobriety and mental health and those things, and it kind of veered off that direction, which is not what it was designed for. I mean, if you listen to my intro music, it's all about those things.
Yeah.
So in the new year, and I'm not making a change as far as whoever wants to be on or comes on will be on. I will be here consistently Monday through Friday. I may be changing it to an hour, but this was an hour and a half, and it was really
Nicely
actually
done.
very comfortable.
Yeah.
And we kind of stayed within the lane for the most part.
Yeah.
Yes, veered off a little bit. So I am going to end this with my devotional, which ironically
What you
is
got?
set your sights.
Nicely done.
And since you have been raised in a new life with Christ, set your sights on the realities of heaven, where Christ sits in the place of honor at God's right hand. Think about the things of heaven, not the things of earth. Colossians, I can never say that word, 3:1-2. And that's the new the NLT version. We live in a world bombarding us with the sights, sounds, and images of broken world around us. Political tensions alone have a way of sending us off kilter and into despair. Wars and famine, people hurting other people. This is the narrative of our culture. The writer of Colossians knew that our hearts could easily be distracted by the pain around us. How can you preserve and not lose hope? Set your sights on heaven. Fix your thoughts and your gaze towards things above. Think of Jesus seated on the throne. You have new life in Christ that defines your present reality on this earth. Allow God's perspectives to inform your perspectives on the world around you. If you have been raised with Christ to a new life, sharing in his resurrection from the dead, keep seeking the things that are above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your mind and keep focused habitually on the things above, the heavenly things, not the things that are of the earth, which have only temporal value. Colossians 3:1-2. If you have said yes to Christ, you have a new life in him. You get a do-over, a fresh start in life. This is kind of like a resolution. It really, and it was literally today's date. So
Nice.
which is probably fitting because it probably planned it that way because
Yeah.
they know people do resolutions.
Yeah.
You get a do-over, a fresh start in life, but not just once. Each moment of every day, you are sharing in Jesus' resurrection. He is perpetually raising you to newness of life. The best way to stand firm in the new reality is to recognize what gets your attention. So if you renew your resolution, so to speak, your resolve, what you're wanting to do, what your goals are each day, when you do maybe your devotional, even if you're not a religious person, you can do your own personal devotional and reset those goals every day. Because if you fail one day, you can start over the next. Are you worried about the problems around you? The solution is to set your mind on heaven. Are you overwhelmed? Remember God's perspective. He sent Jesus to restore this world back into its right relationship with him, and the restoration work is still in progress. Think from the perspective of heaven, which is always hope. Lord Jesus, you are perpetually raising me from the dead. Help me to set my focus on you. Thank you for the new life I have in you. Help me to fix my thoughts on heaven rather than just the things of the earth. Now, what is God's perspective on the broken things in your life? And with that, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to what the new year will bring for the show. And I really want to have that. I guess that's sort of a New Year's resolution without calling it that.
Yeah.
I want to be mindful of what the intention was and what I want for the show, because I have to put a lot of work and effort into developing this show and what my goals were and what I wanted out of it in the first place. And I want to set my goals, my macros and micros of my macros. And I want to keep that focus of where I want this to go, because I want this to help myself, but I wanted to help those that might be listening, those that might be participating. And I apologize, but I have not. I have not read the chats. I just realized that there was chats on here, so I'm going to read these real quick.
Oh, boy.
Yes, they are. My husband. He said, "Hey, I can't do the fizzy water."
Hi, Steve.
And he said, there are still a few monsters left from the last case. And that is why you didn't get it this year. I couldn't get a selection for you. So he's talking about the Seas candy.
Yep.
And honestly, I don't need it. How can you have your pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Nice.
So that was pretty good. But I mean, it really is all about keeping things in perspective.
Absolutely.
And it's easy to veer off course.
Yep.
And we did kind of veer completely off the course, and we were just random things. So I'm going to be a lot more mindful of what the goals are and what we're going to have for each show as we go along.
Yeah.
You know, I did put a little work into some of them, but I didn't do what I should have. So I'm going to have a little bit more mindfulness of that and going forward. So we will see where we go with that. And thank you all for being here. And please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and go to our YouTube channel and join our YouTube channel. And I don't know why that chair has a dark spot. Like, I have so many bloody
Do I have
lights.
something over my head?
No, it's just that chair likes to be dark in camera.
Okay.
I don't know why. I can't figure it out because
Maybe
is
it's just me. It's that dark and twisty.
No, it's
like I'm
anyone
gonna
who
make
sits in
everyone
that
see
chair.
it.
It's
That's funny.
anyone who sits in that chair.
Okay.
But we have more lights in here than NASA. Okay. Like, it's ridiculous how bright it is in here. You turn them off and you're like, wow, there's a lot of lights. Turn them on. It's like, holy shit, I can't see now.
Yeah.
So anyway, with that, remember to go to our YouTube channel and all of our socials. It's Girl Talks, GURLTAUX, because we're going to talks about it. See you later. Have a great day.